Hi, my name is Lori. Welcome to another episode of We Are Quilters Upskill Monday. So I have my blocks. I am not done with these quite yet. Getting close. I'm going to pick out some blocks to add some cross stitch to. I like this where it has the gingham and this dot. We'll talk about that one later. Oh, and this one, look at this nice big, even though it's two pieces of fabric, that will work. I could do something over top of this or up those sides. There, that corner, it's screaming to have a little heart put there. Let's see what else we have here. So that might work for a little flower. This might work for a flower. Let's put that over there. I've moved some of the rest of these that have a lot of stuff on them down further in. That one could use some decoration, but something would look really good there, but it's those dots are very big. Would have to be just the right thing. That one has a big space too. Let's set that one out. Okay, I think that'll be enough to keep us busy. Here in front of me, I have laid the waste canvas. And I've cut off a couple little pieces to show you what you use this for. So this basically is cross-stitch material. And with a pair of tweezers, or your fingers if you don't have any arthritis, you can pull the pieces right out. So after you cross-stitch, you can pull pieces of this away. It gives you a temporary grid on your fabric, and then you just tug it until it comes out, like so. Yeah, just like that. Sometimes it takes more than one little tug to pull. Well, maybe it takes three. I probably shouldn't work from the inside edge. Should always work from the outside edge. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to use this, but before I put my little pieces on there, since these are just temporary, I want to talk about this block. So this block has gingham. I wish this were smaller check, because you can use the small check gingham as fabric to do cross stitch, because cross stitch is just a form of very specific embroidery. You could also use the dots to, it would be better if these were lined up straight in a more of a grid instead of diagonal, but you could still use that to create a cross stitch pattern using your dots as corners. So this would be a good one to add some things to if you were going to use your fabric to add some of those things. I have here laying on the table a couple of bigger cross-stitch books. Dan has lots of cross-stitch patterns, and these are just a couple hardback books that we happen to have laying around. There is a whole shelf of magazines down here. But I'm not making this whole big pattern. I just need some little tiny patterns. So I looked through, and this one has a great little heart with leaves that I could add with a daisy stitch, or it has cute little flowers, tulips there too, that I could use that as a pattern. And I also looked in here in this one, and these are older books, and we picked them up fairly cheap at the thrift store. This one also has flowers here and there that you could very easily add the flower and then the leaves to go with it, and it's probably 10 stitches wide, which would be okay, because you need to take that into consideration when you're choosing things, how wide the stitches are. Like there are some, I believe those are cherries. If I look here, There's something, maybe they're grapes. I don't know, but those little asparagus are cute, and they take up 10 spaces. So you need to keep in mind how wide things are when you're using this, because there is 5 and 5 more. They've marked it with a blue thread so that you can see. So it's about 10 stitches to the inch is my guess. So that would take up a whole inch, but it would be cute, really cute. Anyway, to start, I am going to put a heart in the corner of this block. I'm going to put a heart right down here. I need to grab some thread and a needle, and I will be right back. For this first part, it really doesn't matter what color thread I've pulled up, because this is just regular thread. I am going to baste this on there. Now, when I look at this little heart, I see that it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches tall. So if I turn it sideways, it should be from like blue to blue. So not super big. I'm going to baste this on so that it stays put and doesn't shift when I am sewing. I'm using a big running basting stitch so that it just stays put. And hopefully my thread won't knot too much while I'm doing that. And I'm going to baste the whole way around so that it's easier to deal with it. Now, I was doing some practice picking and pulling out thread, so it's looking kind of raggedy there, but it doesn't really matter. My whole purpose for putting this on there like this, and even if it does knot and twist, I could let it that way. My whole purpose is to just have it so it stays put, so I can cross stitch a cute little heart and be done. So I'm just going to let a little bit of a tail, not going to knot it off, and I am ready to cross stitch as soon as I find the right color thread. I need some red. I'm going to the bag. It was in the container of all the flosses. These are just leftover pieces or ones that came from yard sales. I'm looking for a nice red. Ooh, that one's a very bright red. Oh, look at that. Kind of a dusty red. And oh, I like those greens. I think I'll just pull all those out for right now. And that kind of matches the red in the suitcase, so that'll bring that down there. Let me set that aside. Let me get a needle out and thread it. While you were off camera, I was off camera, my husband and I were having a discussion about how many strands would we use over 10 per inch. And most of the times when he's doing 14 count, he does 3 per inch, or 3 strands, and that looks really nice. But this is a little bit bigger. 6, I think, would be too much. If I hold that down there, it's going to be very full and puffy. But if you have a space that you want to fill up with very full and puffy, then, you know, do all 6 strands. I think this would look good in pearl cotton too. I think today we are going to do 4 strands, because I think that would be an appropriate amount. Sorry, I'm trying to separate the threads. I'm holding on to one end and twirling them apart. So I think I'm going to do 4 strands, and that will give me some nice coverage. Now I am using a larger eyed needle because that makes it so much easier for me to use it for pearl cotton and all kinds of things. So I need to, while I am, yes, and I am knotting this. I know I probably should just run it under other things, but I am knotting it off. I need to think about the 5 rows, and I want my first stitch to be sort of lined up, because the point on the heart, I think I'll start right here. And you know, cross stitch, you go across and you make an X. So this is very easy to stitch on. Let me do some super speed stitching so you can see the little heart. I have finished the little heart on the front, and the waist canvas is still all around it. Now this time, I was saying about, oh, I tied a knot to start. This time, instead of tying a knot, I'm going to run my needle under several of the stitches and knot it off that way. That's what you're really supposed to do when you're doing embroidery. I'm going to trim some of that from the knot that I made earlier. Now, to remove the waist canvas, I'm going to pull out my basting stitches, put those in the container over there. I am going to trim a little closer. It's kind of silly to pull out stuff that's way over on the edges. So I am going to trim it down a bit. And get rid of some of that excess. And then I'm going to leave enough room that I can get a hold of things. I'm going to start pulling things out with my fingers first. And they're kind of interwoven, so you have to do one at a time. But they pull out fairly easy, even with the stitch over top. But you cannot do 2 at a time because they are opposites. Of course, I could pull those ones out up top to make life easier. And I could pull this row of 2 on the bottom. So we're getting less and less to worry about pulling. Oh, those come out so nicely. Makes me want to go do this on a sweatshirt. Oh, except now I'm going to have a different kind of threads everywhere. And this is sort of a stiff, canvasy feeling stuff. Now these I can pull out 2 at a time. It is a good plan not to stitch through these little white threads. And there is cross stitch using waist canvas on our block. So I added the little leaves like they had in their pattern using the Lazy Daisy stitch. And now I'm going to put a row of tulips up through the middle. And this piece has 2 pieces of black, so I'm going to line up one of those blue lines right on that line, so I center it right on that seam. have added some little cute tulips down the side here. I'm going to remove the basting. Doesn't matter that it crinkled it all up. Matter of fact, it probably loosens up those other threads. Then I'm going to do like I did last time, and I'm going to very carefully trim extra stuff away so I don't have to rip it off. And out here on the edge, I'm going to trim some more carefully so I don't cut into the, after I've done all that work, I don't cut into the block. Oh, that made me sad. I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear, yeah, see what I didn't let enough space there, so I'm going to have to flip it upside down so that I have enough space to pick some threads. That makes it easier. Oh wait, I'm breaking my rule of one thread at a time. Can't do them both at the same time because they are opposite of each other, up and down, up and down. I want that one, and it doesn't want to cooperate. And like I said before, I do have a pair of tweezers here somewhere in case my hands get tired. It is a little more difficult to pull it out, the long strands, than it was just the little square, but it's still not impossible. It just takes a little bit more letting it gather up and yanking it out. There we go. Let's start from the other side. Do some easy ones. Ooh, maybe that'll make it all the more easy. I only have 5 left to go the whole length. And the more I pull out, the easier it seems to get. I know that you can use waste canvas for other things. Like I have seen people use waste canvas and do cross stitch on sweatshirts, but I have not tried that. It does have a little bit of stickiness to it, where whatever adhesive they use to hold it together. Oh, and look at this. Some of these are loose because there were no stitches over them. And then all I have to do is go back and pull now these ones 2 at a time. And they come out very easily. And there we have it, a nice little row of tulips. And the other one has the nice little heart on it. Very cute little additions. Didn't take very long to do all 4 of those little flowers. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on using waste canvas and adding cross stitch to your crazy blocks. See you on Wednesday with the Follow the Leader block. And like I said, it is easy to put together this week and easy to cut the pieces. See you then. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe to help my channel grow.